But Brandon, let's move on into our final topic, still staying within the NFL draft region. And this time we are talking about the running backs of the NFL draft. However, we're keeping one out of the discussion because A, we've talked about him enough. 2, we know that he's the best running back in the whole damn draft. And number 3, he has been on number 1 or at number 1 at number 1 on our big board. That's what I've been trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Saquon Barkley, which Sean on the draft podcast that we did when we got everyone together tried to tell me that Josh Allen was my number 1 prospect. And I went, no. It's been Saquon Barkley the whole entire time. So what we're doing is we're ranking the running backs behind Saquon Barkley. I want to ask you, Saquon Barkley's off the board. Your team, beginning in the second round, is on the clock. You're going to look for a running back. Who are you taking? Who are you taking as the second running back off the board if that's the position you were going with and Saquon was gone?
Well, I've gone a little bit back and forth here. But I think I'd probably go with Darius Geis.
Okay.
I think I'd go
I'm
with...
going to guess the other one was Penny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And I don't think that a lot of people would probably agree with that, but nor do I care. I think I would go with Darius Geis because I think that he offers probably the most in terms of a guy who is going to come into the NFL and who's going to be pretty solid. Like, you know what you're going to get from him. Mm-hmm. Again, I really feel like he's a Leonard Fournette like 2.0. I think that we saw Leonard, and I've said this before. I said this, I think, when we talked about him the last time with Darius Geis, was that when Leonard Fournette was not there and he was injured, I almost didn't realize it because Geis was running just like him. Same type of runner, same type of cuts and everything like that with how he plays. He's really good. I think he's a solid runner. He's a guy that you know what you're going to get from him. And he's a guy who can, again, toe the rock 20, 25 times a game, and I think is going to be just fine. I know that Geis has had his own little bit of some injury problems, but he seems to be healthy right now. That's what's important. That's why I would be looking at Darius Geis as the second guy after Saquon Barkley.
Now, here's the thing I want to ask you, because I asked the other guys at MVP, the Outcast, Dave, Sean, Mark about this, because when you look at the draft profile for Geis, they kind of mention how he's a guy that, like Leonard Fournette, a very, I'm going to ground and pound it, I'm going to try to run right through you type of a player. Kind of like how Leonard Fournette, remember the game against Ole Miss where, as Sean put it when we watched it, put the defender in his grave. Just bowled right through him. Defender just went right through the ground. He was put in his grave. That's how hard that Leonard Fournette hit him. There are some saying that, and I'm reading it right here, Geis's running style could lead to a shorter career, but he has the chance to make a big splash early. Do you worry about that with Darius Geis? Hey, how he runs, how long am I going to have him effectively, or is this run style going to get him injured early and we're going to have a short shelf life?
I don't necessarily think so. I don't think that you can go into that thinking, oh, well, because he has this kind of ground and pound bruising running style that, you know, he's going to get injured right away, or we won't have him as long as we'd like. I mean, we already know that running backs, we only have them for a little while anyways. We really only have them for...
Once they hit 30, it's like you're over the hill as a running back.
Well, I was just going to say, a lot of times we only have them for 5 to 7 years, maybe. Maybe, and that's if they're able to stay pretty healthy throughout the entire time. But I don't think that you can be scared off by that, really. We saw Leonard Fournette. Again, I'm really going based off of Leonard Fournette because I find him to be so similar. Look at what he did this past year. He was suspended for a game. I think he was injured for another 1 or 2. But he was really good when he was playing. And it's not like he missed 6 games or anything like that. I mean, he had the wear and tear of an NFL season and of his first NFL season. I think with another offseason under his belt, I think that he will be pretty good, ready for next year. And I think probably be able to avoid some injury. Darius Geis, I do believe, will be similar. He's got He's got an aggressive running style, but I think that's what makes him more attractive as a running back and as a top pick. Well, I don't want to say a top pick, but when as a top running back pick in this draft. So no, I'm not going to get scared off by that.
So here's the thing that I think, this is my last thought with Darius Geis before, because how we're going to do it is I'm going to ask you, like, that was your one, your next one, and then kind of tell you where I would place them.
Yeah.
Whereas for Darius Geis, for me, there's that concern, because if it's a helmet-to-helmet hit or he buries his head and goes right into him helmet first, you could get some type of a freak injury. However, the pro comp that you see when you look at his profile, Marshawn Lynch, if he hits that pro comp, give me that all day. I'll take beast mode on my team. Well, not beast mode that you see now, but the beast mode that was with
Seattle.
The Seahawks.
Yeah,
I'd take that all day, every day.
Well,
however, for me, I'm leaning more towards Geis as my, and this might shock you, as my second running back behind, not behind Barkley, but there's someone else. Yes, my third running back. First one or second one.
I think I know who you're gonna go with.
Who?
I'm gonna say Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. I just watching him play. For me, it's more of like, I get that Sony Michel's not a creative runner and he's more of a north-south guy. But the thing that I like more when it comes to Michel is his size and, more importantly, his pass protection. Because as a running back, there are some things now with more of these offenses, you're not just asked to be a runner. Run straight forward, run into the box, run this way. It's, you got to catch the ball. You've got to block. You have to have some pass protection. And he is a guy for me that can block in the backfield. Because of his size, that's how he can hold his own back there. Yeah, he's a north-south runner, but he might be one that I have behind someone else, and I kind of have like a committee to where it's like, yeah, you're not a creative runner, but I'm not asking you to be that creative runner. And he's got the vision to find holes for me. Like, just one, and I know it's one game that I'm singling out, and it's a whole body of work, but just think back to that game against Oklahoma. How great he was in that game. That is his best. That is his potential. That is how you use him. And that, to me, for my team, I rather have a back like that than a bruiser like Darius Geis, who might have more of a risk of a shorter shelf life, although it's not guaranteed that he will have a short shelf life because of his run style. Where would you have Sony Michel? Would you have him right behind Geis, or would you have someone else before him?
No, I have someone else before him.
Who's your one behind Geis?
I've got Rashad Penny.
Okay.
And I've got Rashad Penny because I think that he brings you a lot of the same types of things, not in the same way. He's again, I'm not looking at him on the same level, but some of the same types of things that he could do for you as a Saquon Barkley. He's a good runner. He's a strong runner. He's a pretty decent pass catcher. He's a guy who can go back on special teams, take a punt and take it to the house. Kick return, get it, take it to the house. Had 2 of those last year, I think 1 punt return for a touchdown. So he's versatile in that sense. He could play a couple of different areas, and he's successful at playing in those areas. And I think that, again, like you said, you want somebody who can, you're looking for, a lot of times now in the NFL, you're looking for a guy who can kind of do it all. You know, that he is going to catch out of the backfield. And, you know, a Rashad Penny almost similar to maybe a Dion Lewis, like what he was for the Patriots. Pretty darn good runner. He's going to get you 5 yards every single time. At least when he runs, he can catch it over the middle. If you need him to do that, he'll catch it off to the side. I mean, he can really get probably about end of day with 5 catches, 36 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's the running back. And then he can go back on a punt return. He could go back on a kick return. He can do those types of things. And Dion Lewis ended up getting himself a nice contract to go to the Tennessee Titans, where he'll probably be doing the same type of thing, with Derrick Henry being the bruising running back. But that, we've seen, is very successful in the NFL, which is why I believe a guy like Rashad Penny, I'd love to be able to see him do the same type of thing.
Now, for me, the thing that, like, for me, when it comes to Rashad Penny, so we're kind of mix and matching here. And at the end, I'll put up a graphic and we'll go through our 1 through kind of 5 here. Because for me, I have 5 backs. There's really 5 backs.
No, I don't really care after the top 3.
For me, it's Sony Michel, Darius Geis, then a mystery running back, then Rashad Penny. And for me, the thing that I look at when it comes to Rashad Penny is, so he was a volume carry running back at San Diego State. What can you do, though, if I don't give you that many carries? Because let's be honest, the NFL...
Probably be fresher.
There's that side of it. Fresher, might not be as exhausted, fatigued. The thing is, though, to me, he doesn't like... Yeah, he's a good runner, but he's not a home run hitter to me. He doesn't have the, like, after he gets through, doesn't have that burst of speed. He's just got one speed. So it's like, yeah, I cut the corner, but... there's a good chance that an NFL linebacker or an NFL corner is going to catch him at this next level. He doesn't have that like next burst of like I'm hitting the turbo button and I'm going up the sideline. However, he is to me a good back. So he's in the top 5 behind Saquon. It's just I like a little other guys before him. And the guy that I have ahead of him is actually the Southern Cal product. The Ronald Jones the third, I think, but just Ronald Jones. And the thing I like the most about him is he's a guy that has that explosiveness. So it's kind of like 2 tiers for me. The first tier behind Saquon is Geis and Michel. I like Michel better than Geis because Michel is probably going to have a longer shelf life. Maybe if Geis becomes the Marshawn Lynch, then whatever, he's better. And he proved that he was better. But I like what I see on tape from Michel, especially finding the holes, getting through the holes, getting to the next level, and going into the end zone most times. Then there's that second tier. That's Penny and Jones. And I like Jones because he has that explosiveness. He has that wiggle to kind of get, there's the lane I want. I'm going to wiggle into that lane to make sure I get through that lane. He's more of a big play talent. Maybe that's it to me. I like... From my running backs, I like the opportunity of like if I'm going to pass, and teams are going to back off that run game. When I go to you, I don't just want 4 yards, 3 yards. I want a possibility. Oh, this team didn't put a guy here in the box. Boom, we hit him for 10 yards. We hit him for 11 yards. We had that big play. 12 yards is a big play for me running the ball to where now they come up. And now my quarterback can go over that top because now they're thinking about the run and kind of keeping that defense off balance. That's why in the second tier I would have Jones a little bit above Penny.
Well, see, but I would have Rashad Penny because you talk about a home run hitter and stuff like that. Well, it's nice when a team has a running back who can kind of do all those things, and they could be a home run with the run. They could be a home run in the passing game. They're going to throw defenses off that way. You're going to have to watch out for the running back because they could slip out and they could end up being a guy who catches the pass and goes all the way for the touchdown. I think that's also, you have to look for how can they be creative instead of having to go with 2 or 3 different running backs and have a committee. I think a team would most likely prefer to have a running back who can do it all and who they can use in the right way to be most effective. That to me is also kind of, you're hitting a home run as a team if you have a guy like that. And I think also that adds another level. When you've got a guy who's not just a running back. Now, Darius Geis is great. I think he's going to be a great running back. But I think I like Saquon Barkley so much because he can do so many different things, and he can do them all really well. And he's not just a running back. He's a playmaker. And I knew I would bring him into this.
We get it. Saquon's at the top.
But all I'm saying, though, is that...
he's the everything man.
But that's what a team wants.
Exactly.
Teams in the NFL now... they don't just want to settle for the running back of, years ago when all you did.
Yesteryear, I meant to say.
All you did was run.
Yeah.
Now they want, because one team did it, and now they all want to do it.
You got to catch the ball.
You've got to run. You've got to be a good pass catcher. And if you're not, we're going to get another guy that's going to dive into your carries.
Depending on the system, you might have to be like what I know it's not the running back here, but like Antoine Randall, we're going to give it to the wide receiver, and you're going to throw the ball too.
Yeah, I mean, so it's
trick play. We got to throw it too.
You know, it's one of those things. So as a running back, there's an opportunity also to have a more illustrious career if you can do all those things.
Now, just kind of at
That's
the
just
end,
me. That's just me.
Just kind of at the end here. So for me, there are, just to give, before we get into these final two that I want to bring up, because to me there are, behind Saquon Barkley, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total running backs that are like, okay, these are the guys that if I really need a running back and I can't get Saquon, these are the ones that I need. And for me, I'll say them in my order, but we've kind of talked about most of them. Sony Michel, Darius Geis, Ronald Jones, and then Rashad Penny. The other two that we haven't talked about that I just wanted to ask you about here at the end, both of them are SEC guys. The first one's a guy really high on a few years ago, has a knee injury, came back, was kind of the backup, I would say, to Sony Michel. What do you think the thought process is for yourself on a guy like Nick Chubb coming into the draft?
I love Nick Chubb. I think that you have to understand that, yes, he had a gruesome, terrible injury. But he bounced back from that, and he was pretty good. Pretty darn good last year. I mean, he was incredible. He if he wouldn't have had the injury, he would have already been in the NFL.
You know what's the best thing I like about him?
And he would have been probably one of the best running backs.
He doesn't fumble the ball. He takes care of the ball really well. The thing with me with Chubb, it's easy. Thing I love the most, takes care of the ball well. Thing I hate the most is his vision. Like the way he sees lanes sometimes, it kind of feels like predetermined. Like, okay, I'm going to go here, and all a team has to do is just guess the right lane, and you stop him at the next level. Like, that's the thing with Nick Chubb. But Nick Chubb's a guy that when I did my 7-round mock draft, I was very upset that the Broncos got rid of C.J. Anderson, because I originally had it to where I'm going through it and I'm like, the Vikings late third. And I'm like, Nick Chubb's on the board still? How is he on the board still? Snatch him up. Snatch him up, have a backfield of Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, Nick Chubb to take over for the Jerick McKinnon, who's now in San Francisco. Then the Broncos go ahead and release C.J. Anderson, so they had to take a running back in the second round, which kind of moved all the running backs up. Now Nick Chubb's a Detroit Lion. He's not a Minnesota Viking, so I was upset about that one. The other guy I just want to mention here at the end, and it's a guy who did well for the Auburn Tigers, but I just don't know where he's going to be. Some have him 2-3. I think he could fall into the 4th round. What do you think the projection should be, and how should teams look at a Kerryon Johnson coming into the draft?
He's probably a 2nd or 3rd round guy. I think that with Kerryon Johnson, again, he's kind of one of those guys where I remember watching a game against the game against Alabama where Auburn beat Alabama this past season, and you talk about a guy in their vision. He had pretty good vision, and he was pretty darn good with it. Being able to have patience, wait for the hole to open up, or being able to wait and see, okay, this one's not. Got to now move over here. So, and that's one of the things that I thought hurt Alabama the most in that game, is that he ran really well against them.
Do you have any, and here's the thing, do you have anything, how do I want to phrase this? The one thing that I hear that's the knock on him is his build, his size. He's 6 foot, 212. Like, usually we're seeing, like, the other guys that we talked about were like, Nick Chubb is 228. You've got guys like Penny, who is
Ronald Jones
220.
Is 6 foot, 200 pounds.
So
Sony Michel is 5'11", 215.
So it doesn't bother you.
Darius Geis is 5'11", 218. It doesn't matter. He's the same as most of these guys.
Because the thing that, and I read it here, and this is why I asked, because to me, I didn't really see it when watching film, but like it says here, has unusual build for the position with linear frame and thin hips. To me, I look at it and I go, I didn't even notice it on film, because like you said, the other guys are more towards that, especially Darius Geis. He's if I'm not mistaken, the smallest of the ones that we read off, where, yeah, some teams might want that. Oh, we want you to be like 220,
He's not
228.
the smallest, but
he's not. Well,
no.
I'm talking like height-wise.
No,
His height's not the shortest?
No, he's
okay.
not. Not based on what I'm looking at. This has him as a lot of them as 5'11".
Okay. But that's the thing that I was looking at. Like, maybe is it his size that's it? Because on a lot of mock drafts, he is the last one of these running backs taken. He is the very last one. And I wonder, with Kerryon Johnson is at the next level, what will he be? Will he become a running back to where he is a stable option in a committee? Is he the main guy with the team? Or is he just the guy where it's like, hey, we have our main guy over here, but we have Johnson for our third down duties, to be that third down up the middle guy, or that third down where he understands how to have the pressure come at him.
Kerryon Johnson, he does not strike me as a third down guy. A third down guy is a guy who's going to be able to probably catch the ball out of the backfield and get you a yard. He strikes me as being a bit more than that. So I don't see that necessarily. And again, my favorite part of all of this is that we think we know. We think we know. We don't.
We don't.
Sony Michel, Darius Geis, yeah, they'll be first round or early second and blah blah blah, and boom, the one who turns out being the best one is the guy who's taken in round 2 or 3. So that's always interesting to see how it all pans out a year or two down the road.
Well, any final thoughts on the running backs before we go ahead and close out the podcast?
No.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below about the running backs that we talked about. Which ones do you like past Saquon Barkley, a Sony Michel, a Geis, a Penny, a Jones, a Chubb, a Johnson? Let us know if there's any that we did not talk about that you're like, guys, why didn't you talk about this running back? Let us know down below in the comment section. If you're listening to the full podcast, either on YouTube or podcast services around the world, thank you guys for checking out the full podcast. Housekeeping here at the end. If you liked what you heard or listened to, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We'll have Matthew on the podcast this month. If you want to be like Matthew, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We have our store down below in the description. That's where you can get your MVP t-shirts. Mostvaluablepodcast.com is where we have everything for MVP each and every day. And last but not least, Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Please go ahead and give the Primetime Podcast a 5-star rating. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.